After a long 2-day break, we are back for the quarterfinals of the World Cup. I'm Nolan Kelly here with Jovanni Vidal. Jovanni, what's going on? Are you ready? Are you excited for these games? This is like the real part of the World Cup where like the winners are separated from the losers, and we get rid of some of these bad teams that we've had to watch play with the outside chance they might make it in.
Yeah, hopefully we get rid of Brazil and Argentina. We don't want those storybooks to
I got bad
continue.
news for you, man. Bad news. We want a Brazil Argentina semi, and we want what? What on the other? What do we want on the other side?
France and
England,
Morocco.
France, and Morocco would be great. That would be like that would be like empire, colonial subject versus empire getting revenge. Sign me up. And also sign me up for some No House Advantage, $50 instant deposit match. They sponsor this show, sponsor a lot of the content over at Stokastic. Great way to build your bankroll by taking advantage of the overlay over there and the $50 deposit match. So you can't really miss out by signing up at No House Advantage. And they also have massive overlay on all their contests, and they have soccer props if you're in a non-legal betting state, so you can combine them into a ticket that will give you 21x your money. So make sure to check those out. And yeah, that's all I got. We were just talking about this show about how like it's the best way to build your bankroll, and it absolutely is. So click the link in the description. But that will that'll do it for NHA. But let's get into the World Cup slate for tomorrow. Doesn't look like we have the Saturday games released yet, but we do have the 2-gamer for tomorrow. So first impressions of this slate, Giovanni, what are you thinking? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a lot of Brazil in most lineups, and then I just because of the odds, you're going to have mixes of one-offs or two men from Netherlands and Argentina. So at least I think there's good spots to get different, even with just the 2-gamers.
All right. Well, let's start it out with the first game on the day, Croatia versus Brazil. Also, Croatia and Morocco, only group to have 2 teams go through. Canada, we got the raw deal there. I'm just saying. Okay, let's go to Croatia here first. We got some value here. Juranovic, who started, did he start in place of Borna Sosa last time?
No, Borna Barasic started in place of Borna Sosa.
Borna Barasic started, right? Okay, so Juranovic 4,300. Luka Modric gets like a $1,300 discount off of the last slate, 5,800. Ivan Perisic 6,200. Some really good price points for these Croatia players. So if you do think that Croatia can pull the upset here, you are going to want to get these guys in your lineups. Do you think Croatia can pull the lineups, and what are you doing with the Croatian side?
I don't think they can upset Brazil, but I do like the over in this game. The 2.5 would be the standard total. I like the over, and I think it's because Brazil obviously can score 3+ goals on their own, but I do think Croatia can get a goal here. They don't necessarily project to get one, but they definitely are capable. They're a resilient bunch. They've been battle tested in the World Cup, and they have the majority of their core for this World Cup run that they did when they made the semifinals. As far as DFS plays, I think it's hard to get, even though they're cheaper, to like a Chromatic or a Bruno Petrovic. Even some projected lineups have maybe Nikola Vlasic coming back. But even when Vlasic was starting, he was barely running like any minutes. I know one game he got injured, but I think I couldn't even get to him there. Modric has a floor at the very least, and he does well regardless of whether they have possession or not. You would assume Brazil is going to have the majority of the possession. And Modric is both ways, defense and offensive midfielder, so he can get interceptions, 1 tackles, and draw fouls, and then he has the indirect sets and some direct possessions. So he's fine for a floor, and the price tag is low enough where if I get anybody for cash games from Croatia, it would be Modric. For again, because of the possession for Brazil, I think for one-offs, for GPPs, I do like either Josko Gradville, and it's mainly because he's free and he has the opportunities for interceptions, one tackles. He might draw some fouls, obviously, because he's going to be up against Brazil's attackers, which can draw a lot of fouls. But at least the opportunity at a min price. The worst case, obviously, is he gets a card, but he hasn't been getting cards. So and at least you can try to punt him to if Croatia is pushing up because they're down, which is assumed that they'd be down. Maybe try to get one of those headers. Now also, it's a little bit more expensive, but I think his floor might be the highest on Croatia is Jovanovic as the wing back or Perisic. Either one, they can do it. Jovanovic with defensive metrics, and on offense, he'll push up, he'll cross in the volume, and he's cheaper than Borna Sosa, who's expected to return from injury, or Ivan Perisic does take some indirect sets on his side of the pitch, opposite of Luka Modric. And Perisic is the only one that's consistently taking shots. He doesn't need somebody to feed him in the middle. He can create his own shots. So I have
And
no
he's
issues
also
with him.
playing the most of that front line as well, right? So like, or at least we've seen that. Like he's gone. I think he went 100+ minutes last game. So there's some upside there, right? Because they have tended to like sub off Kramaric and anyone else in that front line. I think they subbed off their top striker twice last game. So
Yeah, because they have a good amount of options off the bench, and you don't know with Petrovic and Kramovic how long they can run. Even Modric came out, but
would Petkovic, you don't like him here, but like 4,400, like maybe he just pots one. Like it's not a bad cost savings. There's just some opportunity cost there, right?
right. I think if in a GPP, absolutely, you can punt them because then you get a safer floor and more upside from any form of or combination of defenders, whether it's from Brazil, Argentina, Netherlands, or all of them have defenders within the same price range. And it's hard to fit them if you're going to go for the attackers that we'll talk about a little bit later.
All right. Well, let's move it on to the Brazil side. Brazil making it through, trouncing of South Korea. Vinny Jr., Neymar, Richarlison, and Paqueta all scoring. By the way, I forgot to mention the odds up. Croatia plus 800 and Brazil minus 275. We have Neymar 11,100, 20 points. Really good value. Vinicius Jr., who scored 8,200. Rafinha, Richarlison, just the usual suspects here. I don't think we're expecting any major changes. What are you going to be doing with this Brazil side?
Yeah, I mean, I talked into like more of the details, but I'm not gonna get into it in this video. But there's an article on the Stokastic website that I put up, which
Great
details
point. Yeah,
like
an article every day for the World Cup. It's my bad for not mentioning to this point, but there's articles for EPL, UCL. You can come back anytime and check out Jovanni's articles on the site. But sorry to interrupt you there. Go ahead.
yeah, and those articles are free on the website. So and I get into the details of why I would go this route. But so Neymar and Messi. I know we're not in Argentina yet, but Messi and Neymar, it's two gamers, and they have penalties. They're on the favored side in their respective matchups, and they do so much of the goal contributions that they're easily both going to be 55 to 65% owned. And I've hand built some lineups, and there is a way to fit both of them in, and it's not like straight punting the rest of the lineup. It would maybe come like for one or two punts in the lineup, but still have solid pieces around. So the way I would go about this in cash games, just put them both in. That's fine. But in GPPs, I do like Messi a little bit more, but that doesn't mean that I like Argentina as a whole more than Brazil. I do really like Brazil, and I will be getting minimum 3, not including the keeper. If you want to add the keeper, that'll be your fourth piece, but minimum 3 from Brazil, and it will rotate or revolve around the the attacking side. Neymar is fine, but I think I will be going with Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha. And it's because if you took the goals away, simply put, Rafinha and Vinicius Jr. have a slightly lower floor, but their price is significantly lower than both Neymar and Richarlison. And if you look at the historical data, when Neymar contributes on a goal, it's usually has come from help of either Vinicius Jr. or Rafinha. And Richarlison's up top. He's not predominantly an assist man. And if he scores, it's also been coming from one of Neymar, Rafinha, or Vinicius Jr. If Rafinha fails to get a goal or an assist, which he has had trouble doing it, he still has one of the safer floors with the crossing volume, which he'll cross regardless.
And,
he's not looking to dance around. So
and
I
lowest
think
ownership of all four of those guys too, right?
yes, because he's still priced as if he has like full set pieces, which is not the case. Neymar has it on his side, the indirects and the a lot of the direct sets. Although Rafinha and Neymar stand against both on the same direct sets, so they'll rotate who shoots it. I guess they determine it based on their own angles and preference. But Rafinha and Vinicius Jr., if this is a tight game, because the odds kind of undervalue Croatia, but if Brazil was only to put up 2 goals in this game, it is possible that Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha contribute one way or the other via a goal or an assist to those 2 goals or even 3 goals, and they have already. And then Neymar, you're really hoping braced,
Right.
because so yes, Brazil is the side to get plenty of, but I think I'll be underweight on Neymar and hope that he doesn't brace.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And like you said, you could even fit in all three of them, the other top options here, if you really wanted to, which I think will end up being a contrarian lineup build. So I like that a lot. Let's move it on to the next game. Before we do, give me your showdown. Give me your top captain pick and your favorite roster construction.
I like the 5-1 for Brazil, and it's going to be popular more so than not. It's hard to get different, but I think one of the better ways to get different is if you consider that Alisson is really high up in price. If you just roster one of the goal hunters like a Perisic or Modric from Croatia and do not roster Alisson, you'll be able to at least kind of hedge against a clean sheet with one of the cheaper defenders, because all four defenders are reasonably low in asking price from Brazil.
They will be the popular like add-on to the forwards.
Right. Alisson is going to be. I did not run the ownership, but I assume it's going to be around 55% in the flex. So a good way to still jam in all the forwards you want from Brazil and hope they route is if you counter with a goal hunter and no Alisson, because that's
right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Let's move it on to the final game here. Netherlands versus Argentina. Netherlands plus 260, Argentina plus 125. Why don't we start with the Netherlands side, fresh off their victory over the United States. There we go. Daily Blind, 1.72. Andreas Noppert, who's looked fantastic in this game, or in this tournament so far, 1.53 value, 6 points. Not great projections for the Netherlands here, man. Denzel Dumfries looks like we're not rostering some of these strikers though and forwards the way we have been previously. Why no love for the Netherlands?
I think it comes from if you look at Hakpo is still has a floor, and the floor will still be a like a 110 value on DraftKings because he can draw some fouls and he can assist on shots and he does have the crosses. But if you look at not just against the U.S. men's national team, but throughout the group stage, he played all the games and he scored 3 goals. So there's obviously upside there, but it was one shot like each game. So you have to assume that his one attempt against Argentina, if that, is 100% going to go in, and that's fine. You can do that because he has the floor, and at least you're chasing the upside, and his price is discounted. But I think that Argentina is better than what they're like. What are they? What are the odds? Like plus 125 or plus 130 on the money line for Argentina. I think they're better than that, and I still don't value the Netherlands defense as high as, but so I think Hackbo is a good option as a one-off piece, but not a pairing with Memphis Depay because they're going to cost you either significant pieces from if they're paired, significant pieces from Brazil, and I don't want to do that, or the main piece from Argentina, which also I don't want to do that. A one-off should be fine though, and I think Memphis Depay would be the one-off that I prefer because he doesn't have the floor because Hackbo's been taking the sets even against the U.S. men's national team when Depay was there, but Depay has the shot volume, and historically he's like at 3.44, 3.66 shots. So it's all you need is one on target, and you're already building a better floor than the less than 4 corners that the Netherlands have averaged throughout the entire World Cup thus far.
Right. Do you expect what kind of minutes are you expecting from Memphis Depay here? Because he was subbed off. I'm just going to look this up here. Let's see. All right, so he's subbed off in the 83rd minute. Looks like the injury woes are behind him at that rate. So
right, I expect him to run as long as he has to.
Yeah. All right. I kind of think Netherlands might win this game. I don't know. I know it's kind of contrarian to the projections here, but I don't know. I haven't really been impressed with the way Argentina's looked, but we'll see. Lionel Messi moving over to the Argentinian side. Lionel Messi, Angel Di Maria, 400, Julian Alvarez, Rodrigo de Paul. A lot of the usual suspects we've seen, though. It looks like you have Angel Di Maria coming back into the starting fold here. I'm guessing you're very high on Lionel Messi.
Yes, I am, and he is really the only piece I like from Argentina. Not only because all the contribution runs through him, and there's the drawn foul rates. Even if he's not on the indirect sets, which he's been splitting it or hasn't really taken them anymore, the direct sets are there that's where you get the expected goal upside from, the penalties, the shot volume, and the created chances. He is, I believe, top 5 in the World Cup in created chances. The issue has been his teammates, with the exception of like Julian Alvarez, have not finished. So, and Enzo Fernandez, I think, found the goal as a sub in one of the matches, but Lautaro Martinez has not been finishing. So that, I think, has it. If Lautaro Martinez was able to finish Messi's chances, I think you would have seen Messi at the same price as Neymar, regardless to the odds, because I think Messi will now put it on himself more so and increase his shot volumes. But regardless to which, I have concerns about the questionable tags on Angel Di Maria and even Rodrigo de Paul. Rodrigo de Paul, I doubt will not unless he's seriously injured that he can't play, then he won't be starting. But I don't think he's going to come in as a bit off the bench if he couldn't start. I mean, he's Messi's personal protector. He needs to be there to enforce, make sure nobody touches Messi. But no, yeah, DePaul I actually like at the price tag because he can do some defensive metrics. He runs the risk of fouls. He does foul a good amount. He's a very aggressive player, but he does take the indirect sets on opposite the side of Angel Di Maria. Like he'll come across, and so as far as like shot volumes, even if it doesn't result in an assisted shots and stuff, that could add up. And he's fairly cheap. He's in the 5K range, so it's a good stacking piece with Argentina. Even if you're only doing like a 2-man with Messi and DePaul, it still allows you to fit at least 3 of those attackers from Brazil.
Right.
Now, Di Maria, if he starts, I question how long he can run, and if he starts with Julian Alvarez, then you have to imagine that one of them comes off with for Lautaro Martinez, and I think it's hard to pay that price for Di Maria unless you're getting very few shares. I think it's hard to pay it if we don't know, unless he gets he starts because he's fully good to go and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The Paul, the wing backs I'm not as high on because I don't know how far up they're gonna push. Them pushing up runs a huge risk, especially with Christian Romero in the back, who is not a very fast defender. But you don't want to leave him in Otamendi against Hakpo and Depay in like a counter option. So I don't know how far up they're going to push.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Lionel Messi, lock him in. I'm guessing he'll be your most down player, but we'll get to that shortly. Give me, before we get out of this game, give me your favorite captain spot, favorite roster construction.
I think a 4-2 makes sense. 5-1 if you're going to use Martinez, because Martinez won't be as popular because there is no money line favorite in this matchup. There's a lean, but there's no favorite. So Martinez, if you're going to run a 5-1, I have no issues with Emiliano Martinez, in which case Hakpo can be the one-off with the floor, but he's not as scoring dependent as Depay. But 4-2 with any mixture of Blind and Hakpo or Blind Dumfries or Depay, any of them, because they will, especially if they concede, they're going to start pushing up and trying to cross. You'll be able to pick up open play metrics that way. And then Messi will be the popular captain choice. I think I would go with Julian Alvarez or Angel Di Maria for the captain over Messi, just because it lets you fit in an extra piece.
Contrarian. Yeah. And not a lot of value as well. Give me your top 3 own players on the 2-game slate.
It would be Messi, Rafinha, and Vinicius Jr. But I mean, that's going to be everybody's like top owned players. I think
Richarlison's going to be very owned. I think Richarlison might come in maybe as more than Rafinha, and less than Vinicius Jr.
So I mean, the odds on Brazil to score over 2.5 goals is like a virtual pick'em. I believe I looked like 2 days ago on it, but so if you assumed based on that it's 2 or 3 goals, Richarlison at 9,500, if he scores 1 goal, does that pay off his 9,500?
Hat-trick incoming. Yeah. Jovanni, hat-trick incoming.
Yeah, that's why you can't fade.
But it's also like the other thing as well. These 2-game slates is you might only need 1 goal, like for some of these, right? Like you could see some 0-0 tie or some draws, some 0-0 draws. So I don't, anything is on the table, I think, for these 2 gamers. You just want to kind of find some roster construction that's maybe a little bit unique, but also has some high upside too, right? So, but yeah, I agree with everything you said there. That's going to do it for us. Don't forget to check out Jovanni's article. Also, sign up for our soccer package, $8.95 per week. You get it for free. We will be back with EPL as well as soon as the World Cup ends, and then Champions League probably like 6 weeks after that, I think. So Jovanni has it all covered. We got premium Discord. We got a lot of people in there chatting World Cup soccer. So come on in, sign up. Link is in the description, as well as the link is in the description for No House Advantage. That'll do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the final 2 games. Portugal, Morocco, England, France should be great Saturday afternoon. Make sure that you the significant other that you are busy and will be watching soccer. That's going to do it for us. Jovanni, we're out.
Thank you, guys.